Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 2021 Tech Committee meeting. I love seeing all the different emojis in the chat, so keep those coming. Those make my day a little bit brighter. So we're going to walk through tech committees, and hopefully this won't be a long meeting. I'm going to just kind of keep it short and to the point. If you do want to see the long version, I do have an hour-long video about the whole process. So if you do want that, just send me an email and I will shoot you that link. That goes over to every single detail about the tech committees. That's more like behind the scenes stuff that you guys don't need to worry about. But if you are interested, let me know. Okay, so I'm gonna look at the timeline first. This is today, so we can kind of check that off of our box. Also, I'm joined by David. I was so rude and I didn't introduce him or acknowledge that he's also here.
Hello, everyone.
So David will be answering you guys in the chat if you have questions. So put your questions in the chat. Sorry about that, David. Anyways, back to the 17th. So that's right now. We can check that off. I changed it from a Google Meet to YouTube just because of the amount of people that had to join and log in. On the 17th, all of these are going to be due. And so that's what we're going to be walking through today. So right here, we have a student Google form. And this Google form, you will put in your Google Classroom. Students can complete this in person or they can complete it virtually. Totally up to you and what you prefer for your students. But it's just going to ask them about different programs and if they love it, hate it, does it help them learn, and then any additional comments that they want to leave, they can. I love when they leave comments because they're really funny and pretty honest about the different programs. So they can or they don't have to. Totally up to the student on if they want to leave additional comments. If they don't use a program, all I tell them is just leave it blank or hit the I do not use. So they just have to click I don't use this program and go on. So it should be a pretty quick survey for them to just fill out, again, in person or virtually. It does not matter. And you'll just put this link, this URL link in your Google Classroom for them. The next part is the teacher survey. So this teacher survey, everyone will fill out. It should take 5 minutes or less. And you're just going to let us know what subject you teach, what grade level you teach. And then it's just a quick rating scale. So if you don't use the program, leave it blank. If you do use it, you're just going to rate it on how well you love the program. Once you rate all of the programs, you're going to pick your top 3 best programs. This is just kind of for us to know, like, what do you love about that program? And what 3 do you really love? So that way we kind of just get a scale. And I know there's a lot of different ones on here for different purposes, but we just want to know what are your top 3 favorites, just so we can kind of know the ranking of, okay, Ed Puzzle, everybody loves, don't get rid of it type of thing. You can leave additional feedback here. It's optional. You don't have to. And then once you're done, hit that submit. So everybody will fill out that. Again, it should take you less than hopefully 5 minutes. The Google survey for students, you can put that on your team classroom. Just talk with other teachers and decide how you want that to go out to your students. So just talk with other teachers. One teacher can send it out or every single teacher can send it out. I made it so that they can only fill it out once. So they won't be able to fill it out multiple times once they sign in with their Google account. So that is locked. So if they do have like multiple classrooms that have that survey, they will be locked to only filling it out once. The next thing is this Google document. One person from your TBT team department will go to file and make a copy. Okay, so one person from your department will make a copy of this Google document. And you're going to fill this out as a department. So not just one person's going to fill this out. A ton of people are going to be filling this out and working together as a team to get this completed by the 17th. Also, this is an optional Google form. If you want a program that we currently do not pay for, you can fill out this Google form. So this Google form goes through a program that we don't have currently purchased in the district. So you can kind of decide what you want, if there's a program that you want that we don't pay for. For example, last year, GimKit. A teacher filled this out for GimKit. They went through and explained how they wanted to use it, if we have a program similar to it, how it aligns to building goals. And then we took it to the tech committees for the next steps. So if there's a program that you would like to purchase, just fill out this Google form. Again, you can fill this out as a team of teachers. Just let me know how many people are filling this out, so I'm not just like, okay, only one person wants this program. Or you can fill it out individually. Okay, so that is if you want to request a program we currently do not purchase. Again, optional, does not have to be filled out. This Google document, talk with your TBT, Charlotte. She asks, is it per building? And it can be. So if you want to fill it out, maybe you want to fill it out Lakeview, 8th grade social studies, you can, and then Ridgeview would fill it out too. Or you can come together as one team. Doesn't matter to me, but you guys need to talk as a TBT team, so as like that district level team, and decide how you do want to fill this out. To me, I would probably fill it out as a whole department because you're using the same programs, but I'm going to leave that up to you guys. So if you really disagree with someone, you can, and yes, by grade level. So like 5th grade ELA, or you could do 5th grade ELA Tollgate. So you can separate out by buildings if you want to, but try to do the same grade level. Let me know if that makes sense. Okay, so that is all due on the 17th. Again, post this in your Google Classroom or your team Google Classroom. Teachers will take this survey 5 minutes or less. Hopefully don't spend a ton of time analyzing it, just do it. And then there's a Google document right here. One person on your TBT team or building level team or whatever you decide will make a copy and share with everybody. Okay. The new program is optional if there's any programs that you would like to request for the next school year. So that way we can look into it. And then tech reps we'll talk about in a little bit. Okay, next up is on the 24th, we will meet with our tech reps and we will determine next steps. This is a meeting where we're going to look at usage data. We're going to look at any comments teachers made, all of that kind of different resources. Then the month of April, me, David, and the coaches will work on a bunch of paperwork behind the scenes to get those recommendations ready for submission, and those will go to Brian and Sabrina on May 1st. I try to get those done a little bit before May 1st, but the goal is for them to look at it, and then at the end of May, we will send out an email for what programs have been approved for the next school year so that you know over the summer what programs you can use for the next school year, okay? And again, feel free to put questions in the chat. Are there any questions so far, David, or did I hit those?
You got most of them.
Okay. The next step, again, teachers will fill out this Google form. It's just linked in multiple places for your convenience, and it's just to help you kind of reminder. So you'll complete this Google form, rating scale, additional questions, concerns, anything like that, and then also your top 3 programs. One person from your team, again, the team could be your department, it could be your building, it could be your grade level, subject level, I would keep it at though, and just file, make a copy. You can fill this out individually if you want, but that's going to be a lot more work on you. So you might just want to share your feedback as a team. Okay. Do not forget to share it with me. So make sure you share the document with me and allow anyone in Pickerington to be a viewer. So when you go in here, make sure that anyone in Pickerington can view the document in case David needs to look at it, or a coach or someone, a principal needs to look into your document. They're able to do that. Okay. The recordings are here. I made a quick recording of what I'm going over right now if you want a quick reminder. And then I have the middle school one, and then the current one will be available at this link. So everything's recorded right here. The next is the process. So this is if you want to watch that hour-long video, you are more than welcome to. But this, I'm going to give like a quick what the process is. So right here is the form if you want to recommend a new program, which we talked about earlier. It's also linked on the website. But then we have these flow charts. So if you fill out this Google form, we have to follow this flow chart. So like right now with Eduelastic, we are following this flow chart with junior high. Right now we're at the piloting stage. So over here in the flow chart, and then depending on your feedback is if we're going to make a recommendation or not. So that's kind of the process for a new program. Current programs, we have to just make sure if they've made any updates, it still works with our devices, and making sure that everything looks good and is able to work with our Wi-Fi. It still meets privacy and it works with like ClassLink. If all of these are yes, it kind of goes quicker to the recommendation to the committee to just say, do we want to keep it, or are teachers no longer using that program, or is there something else that we need to look into? David kind of takes this route, and we do a lot of this as a team, so it's not like a one route way, but we also look at the curriculum side. So does it follow the standards? Is it still using, those learning standards and following Ohio, or did they make changes to where it's not? Is it appropriate usage? We look at the usage data. Are people even using it? Because if you're not using it, then what's the point of buying it? And that kind of things as well. So we follow these different flow charts. Right here in the yellow are different questions. So that's the paperwork that David, myself, and I and the coaches will be working on in August, or not August, oh my gosh, on April. And we have to fill out this rubric. And if these certain questions get an immediate stop, the program does not move on, because we have to make sure it follows student privacy. We have to make sure that advertisements are okay for students to view, a couple other things. But most of the time, programs get a 2 or 3 rating on this rubric. So we do all of this different paperwork. And Andy Fisher thinks I love paperwork. I really don't. But right here, these are the questions that we have to answer. So we have to answer all of these different questions for each program. And we have to make sure that the program is going to be good to use. And then all of these different paperworks go to Brian and Sabrina for recommendations. Again, you don't have to answer all these questions. We're using your feedback and kind of guidance to help us answer these questions, but this is a job for myself, David, and the coaches. I just want you to know the process of what this kind of looks like. Okay. And so after you kind of understand the process, this is where you guys come into play with your feedback. So right here, I have all of the programs that the technology department pays for. So these are programs that are bought by our department, instructional technology. And if there's a program that is bought by another department, I left room for that. So right here, what you'll answer for every program that you use. If you don't use a program, you're going to leave it blank. Okay, so like iReady, are there any flaws that are preventing the effective use of the program? Maybe you had issues with students getting error messages. Let us know that. Maybe you had issues with the diagnostic test or new students rostering in or whatever. Let us know what flaws are preventing you from using that data. So that way we can talk to the vendor, talk to Brian, if there's anything on the back end that we can do to fix that so it's being used more effective. Let us know if you need more training, or has the training been really appropriate for you? So let us know if there's training that needs to be done and what that training should look like. So if you can let us know, maybe you want someone to co-teach with you so that you can learn the program a lot better in a hands-on environment. Maybe you want a training where it's like a webinar setup and you're watching someone direct instruction. Maybe you just need time to play or talk to your other department leads. So we want to know what needs to be done if the training has not been supported. And then any additional comments. So maybe, like, for example, I know a lot of people had issues with the Edulastic sync. Maybe you don't want it to sync anymore with Clever. Just say, I want to sync with Google Classroom, and here's why. Providing the why will really back us up when we're trying to advocate for you and when we're trying to share your voice. So as much detail as you can leave on this would be appreciated. Feel free to use bullet points if you want to, just because many people will be using this to write on. And last year I used a Google form. And so this gives the ability for multiple people to be on the document, leaving questions as they think of them. And again, you have a whole month to work on it. I know it's going to go quick. You can do all the programs in one TBT meeting, or you can spread it out. Maybe you want to spend 15 minutes and just do the first row. That's fine. It's up to you. I'm going to leave it up to you guys to make that decision on how you want to fill this up. Hyperlinked in here are folders. And in the folders is data and usage reports from the company. I'm still gathering a couple usage reports, but for the most part, you can click in and you're able to look at there we go, this one. Look at the different usage reports. So I can see that this is the whole district. So you might need to go down to your building or your grade level, depending on the usage report that was pulled. So just looking at those reports might help you make a decision or give more feedback of like, oh, we're not using this program at all. I didn't know we even had it, or I need more training on this, okay? So you can use those reports as needed. Down here is if you want to add a program that is paid by a different department. So for example, Imagine Learning is from the EL department. So I did not include that, but if you use that with your department, you can just delete this and write EL Imagine Learning. If you use any other programs that are purchased by your department, just add it in and make those comments, and I will share those with those departments that do purchase that so that they have that information to advocate for you for those different programs. Another example is like Lexia. Down here, junior high is we're going through the pilot right now with Edulastic, and we need to know what pros and what cons are there between Edulastic and Illuminate. So think about which one you want to take, and then you're going to cast your vote. Again, this is junior high only. I know I have some middle school teachers watching. You do not do this part. You already have Edulastic, and if you absolutely hate it, then you need to let me know. But here's where you're going to write your pros, cons, and then I need everyone to vote on which one they want. So you're just going to quickly vote which one. Feel free to leave comments. Again, you don't have to. I just wanted to give an opportunity for you to do that on this form. So it's an individual submission and you're not having to type that out on the Google Doc if you don't feel comfortable. Another program that are just junior high only is ALEX and History Alive. So again, you'll fill out those two programs. And again, if you don't use these programs, just leave them blank and move on, or feel free to type whatever you need to. And then you're going to talk with your department or your building and grade level and decide who's going to be the technology rep. And they're going to fill out this Google form. That person will fill it out to let me know, and then I will send them an invitation for the 24th. And this person will be the person that kind of shares your voice and your vision for your department on what technology programs you would like to see in the future or for next school year. If there's any training that needs done, they're the ones that are going to share your voice to me, David, and the coaches and whoever else is joining us on that day. So feel free to nominate someone, or if someone wants to volunteer, again, you can send somebody, just one person from your department if you really trust that person, or you can send 3 different people. So maybe you want to send someone from Tollgate, Diley, and Harmon. You could do that too. Maybe you want to send somebody from Lakeview and Ridgeview that are both representing the 7th grade social studies. That is fine as well. I just need at least one person from your department. However, you can decide if you want to break it up by building as well. You guys can make that decision. And then right here, a COVID question. We bought a couple programs due to COVID. So we bought GimKit, we bought Wiser, we bought Padlet due to COVID. And so we just want to know what programs have you used during COVID, and are you going to keep using those programs when we return back to whatever normal looks like? So how will your usage change? Example like Wiser. Are you still going to need that program when COVID is over and we're back to 5 days a week? Or do you no longer need it because you have your students back in your classroom? So we just need to know that this there, just because we did buy a couple programs for the COVID reason. And then any additional notes that you guys might have, feel free to leave them here. Maybe you want to make sure like programs have the read aloud availability for students. Maybe you need something, or something is not syncing correctly, or whatever reason, just leave those notes here. That way we can tell. And I'm not saying anything's going away right now. I'm just giving examples. So don't freak out. Yeah, just keep that in mind that we did buy some programs because of the virtual environment. So like COVID. So I just need to make sure you're going to use those programs when we go back to normal, and just how that's going to look when we are back to normal rather than this virtual environment. Also, this is just another reminder. Here's the student survey. Make sure you post it in Google Classroom so your students can fill it out. And then don't forget to share your document with me that your department, your building, whatever you decide, share that with me so that I can keep record of it. And then I am putting all of the evidence into this document, where if you ever need access to see some of the data, just go here and you're able to kind of see it. I'm working right now on usage reports and pulling the numbers from you guys. This will not be completely done until the March 17th because I still have to get reports. But if you want to see different reports, you can see like this one is not correct because you guys have to take the survey, but this is an example of what it will look like. So I'll have the teacher survey, student survey results, and then usage reports. So if you want to see how many people are actually using it, you can go in and look at these numbers right here. You can also see the reports broken down if the company provided that as well. Any questions? Oh, GimKit, Padlet, Wiser, I think was the third one for COVID programs. I don't think we bought anything else for that reason. I know like Pear Deck usage went up too during COVID. So will that continue when you're back in the classroom?
And please put these ideas down on this sheet because it gives us talking points too. So when we submit this to Dr. Woodruff and to Mr. Seymour, we're able to not only bring in the usage data, but we can bring in those comments from teachers to support our recommendations.
And yeah, it's a long process. So any feedback you can give is much appreciated so that we can share your voice, because I don't want to just buy a program because I think it's good, because I don't use it. You guys use it. So that's what we need to know. I think it's called Block It. Is that right? Block It. It's a new program out. Yeah, if you want this program, you guys have to fill out this form. Just telling me doesn't do you any good. It has to go through the process. And so you have to fill out this digital program request form if there is a program that you want to look into as a tech committee. And again, we do have to look into the budget. We do have a budget, which stinks. So some programs will not be approved just because of like ranking. So like, for example, GimKit, maybe we don't have enough money. GimKit would be the first probably to be cut, depending on the survey and your feedback or examples like that. Not saying it's going to be cut. I'm just saying an example.
And Tracy, to address if there was a previous program that was cut and you want it again, we can have that. You have to fill out the form again, like Stephanie is explaining. We can have that conversation, but know that we need to have like new information because there were reasons why it was cut. So the first step is to get the digital program request, and then we can have those conversations.
And everything is linked in here, and I will put this link in the chat. I'm also going to send out a follow-up email as soon as this session is over.
And Tracy, just to give you an idea, we have had programs that were cut and we brought back, a year or two later, because the programs also change. So please do submit it again.
And as a department, make sure you are hearing from every teacher's voice. Give them a chance to share, because we really want to make sure we're hearing from every single person and not just the loud bunch. All right. If you guys have questions, you can email David and myself, and we are more than happy to go through any questions that you might have and look over anything with you if you need us to, or if you need us to say like, where's this link? Just email me. I've got them all like in my drive saved as recents and priorities. So just let me know, and have a great day if there's no more questions.